At 3:35 p.m. on April 13 last year, Police Inspector Amy Scott drives up Bondi Road towards Bondi Junction. Two beeps sound over the police radio network, marking an important broadcast to follow. It says, Eastern Suburbs car, any car in the vicinity, we're getting multiple calls, multiple stabbings, multiple locations at Bondi Junction, Westfield. Amy Scott acknowledges the call and drives directly to the mall at the top of the hill, less than a kilometre away. She's there in 2 minutes.
There were people pouring out of that exit and on the road and waving me down to the point where I couldn't ignore it, so I stopped. As I got out of the vehicle, people started saying to me, "There's a guy in there with a knife. They're stabbing people. He's killing people. You've got to help us. Please, get in there."
Inside the mall, just 20 metres away, is Joel Couchy. He stabbed 16 people in the previous 3 minutes. A pacing, agitated Couchy pauses, then takes the escalator up one level. Amy Scott broadcasts, "I'm going in," and unclips her gun holster.
I didn't draw my firearm straight away. I was conscious that I could have had what we call a sympathetic body reaction. If somebody jumps in front of you or bumps into you, your body just naturally would pull the trigger.
Accompanying her, a posse of civilians, including French construction worker Damien Guéraud.
As we were going up the escalator, one of them sort of tapped me on the back and said, "You're on your own. We're coming with you." I moved up the escalators quite slowly because you couldn't sort of see over the railings at the top. As we got to the top, we heard screaming. I heard screaming off to the right, and someone said, "Over there."
They round the corner to the air bridge above Oxford Street. Couchy stops. Amy Scott directs civilians away, telling shop staff to close their doors. Behind Couchy, she sees a woman with a pram sheltering by a large pot plant.
And I signalled, mouthed to her, "Run," and sort of indicated with my hand like this to run as well. I started to try and get my body-worn video on at the time, and it was at that moment that I sort of looked, took my eyes off for a second. He was kind of rocking, and then he just sprinted downhill at me with the knife out.
She draws her handgun and shoots.
I shot 2 more times because I didn't stop him straight away, and I was trying to stop him. And then he fell to the ground. I actually fell to the ground as well because I was trying to back up so quickly.
One of the 3 bullets misses Couchy, hitting the pot plant where seconds earlier the woman with a pram was sheltering.
I started inquiring as to if there were any other offenders with him and other civilians, and it was at that point that everyone was saying, "No, it's just him. That's the guy."
There was only one attacker, but the scale of what happened here, 17 people dead or injured across 3 levels, fueled confusion that would affect the emergency response. Joel Couchy was shot dead at 3:38. The first ambulance crews entered the mall at 3:42 p.m. But at 4:01, an ambulance inspector reported a second armed attacker, and arriving crews were told to not enter, to the immense frustration of paramedics waiting here on Oxford Street.
The mall was declared a hot zone by New South Wales Ambulance at 4:28, and paramedics who were inside were directed to immediately leave.
Any form of lockdown or restriction on access by first responders would obviously have the potential to compromise care and could have had a catastrophic consequence. Fortunately, it did not.
In the immediate aftermath of the attack, the confusion in the mall was made worse by a deafening evacuation alert. It made it difficult for emergency workers to communicate, and it was broadcasting the wrong message. It should have warned shoppers of an active attacker and that they needed to hide or escape if they saw a safe route out. Someone had pressed the blue button on this emergency alarm panel. They should have hit the yellow one.
But instead, what was pressed was an evacuation alert. And that was only pressed after Mr. Cauchi was shot dead.
The inquest has heard that the mall's CCTV room was unstaffed when the attack began. The lone operator had gone to the bathroom. Throughout the stabbings, while security staff in the mall were unsure of what was happening, no broadcasts were made from the control room. The coroner heard that the control room operator on the day had previously twice answered incorrectly when tested on the two main objectives of security in an active armed offender situation: to get people to safety and inform police. One security supervisor told the inquest that upon reflection, "I wish we did better. I wish we did different."